Good evening, everybody. Well, good morning for some people, right? Because this is a late video, but I had to get on, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you now I am eating a pecan pie. So, yes, I will be eating this slice of pie on this live. Also, if you happen to hear this cracking noise, I just gave Mimi her bone. It's her birthday. Actually, her birthday was yesterday, but I got her bone today, and so she's enjoying it. But if this is your first time, thank you and welcome to Healing in the Vein with yours truly. And tonight's topic is about having an unsettled spirit and what does that mean? Excuse me. And it's because I've heard of several people. They were just talking, and and these are like people who don't even know each other. They're in different settings, but everyone was talking about moving plans and plans that they want to do, and they just can't seem to find that thing that makes them want to stay, or find this thing that find a career, right? They're always on the go, 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 go. And so, and I started laughing because, ironically, whenever I was younger, my mother used to say that I was running from God, and I was like, "No, my last name. If you know me personally, you know my last name." I'm like, that's the only reason why I was go, 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 go. Um, but I have also seen it where when people don't have an idea or a set focused goal, they seem to be going to and fro from places and just doing anything that they can find get their hands on, get anything that will distract them for what they're supposed to be doing. And so I understood why my mother would think that about me. However, I was always focused. And I think that is a lot of people don't understand that when you are being led to do something, when you have a purpose to do something, you will always have some sort of a focal point to reach a goal. Now, sometimes you may not understand what that goal is until it hits, but the goal happens. And I say that because whenever you are dealing with God, and God is just like, hey, go left, go right, go straight, wait for 24 hours, then I want you to make your next move. When you're taking directions like that, you don't have a set focal point. You're just following the instructions and just hope and pray that it's the right ones, right? But eventually, once you start to realize how God is using the situation or pushing you, you'll feel it right here in this heart space. You'll know that you're going in the right direction because of that. With an unsettled spirit, you don't. It's just like, it's in that. I have a friend that calls it that in between stage. It's like, I don't know if I don't know if this is for me or not. I don't know. I'm just in this space between here and there, and I just don't know. I just feel like I'm floating in there. I've heard these things. And when people say that they feel like they're just in limbo or floating in air, it's because they are in the spirit is unsettled, because their spirit is trying to grasp something that they have not yet conceived. The spirit is trying to grasp direction from a place, basically from a bus stop. Let's put it there. You haven't received your directions, but you're still moving. So the first thing I'm going to tell you, Mr. Mrs. Unsettled Spirit, is that you cannot continue to just move. When you're at the bus stop, you have to stop. You have to, the things that you normally do to distract yourself, you have to stop. The people that come into your life, They come into your life for a certain season, and you're just like, oh, well, I'm doing everything right. I don't know what's going wrong. You just have to stop it. And the reason why you have to stop it is because you now have to hear the directions from God. What is God? Where is God? How is God leading you in this moment? And so, I have a few notes that I did want to read. So that's why I'm looking. So the first note that I have is wavering everywhere. You want to be distracted, but all there is you. For some people, they get into this habit of, like I said, they want to be distracted. They're just like, this is monotonous. This is the same thing I went over and over and over again. I need to do something to get me out, but it's still this limbo space that I talked about earlier. And but the only thing is, all you have is, I don't even want to say the silence. All you have is the thoughts that's in your head. All you have are the things that your mind is telling you, oh, you should have done this, you should have done that. um I wish you had not done this thing or that thing. I wish you had gone with this person. You wouldn't have been in this predicament. And your mind goes through a lot of what ifs and shoulda, coulda, wouldas, right? And because your mind is going through this, you're having a war within yourself. You're having a war between your mind and your spirit. And again, when you clear your mind, when you tune out the noise, you can hear from your heart space the directions that God has placed in your heart, because that is when you know when God is speaking to you. That is how you know when God is telling you to move, when to stay, how long to stay. And sometimes God will not tell you how long, but you just wait there until He say, okay, now go, right? And so one of the first examples um, that I received as an unsettled spirit is the story of the prodigal son, right? The prodigal son, he was the son, he was like, oh, I want my fortunes now, and I want to do this now. Why I gotta wait? Why I got and it's the same thing as when God tells us to that before I give you what I have promised for you, I want to make sure that you are mature to handle it. And so we this is when we really start to see this unsettled spirit, because when God tells us to wait, we're just like, how long? I got a timer. Well, actually my watch is over here. I got a timer. I got a time limit. But God is like, and that's your time limit. I have a timeline for you. It's not time. So you're going to receive what you need to receive. You're going to get what you is supposed to get when it is time ordained by God, not by you. And also, when looking at the prodigal son, even after he left, he was just like living and living and living and partying and just doing what he needed to do. And I'm even going to put a spin on it, because we always talk about the partying prodigal son, but what about the prodigal son that's not partying? The prodigal son that continues to study and overstudy, the prodigal son that go from assignment to assignment to assignment, not knowing if that assignment has been truly assigned to him or her, right? This assignment is you overstretching yourself. What does this look like for those that are in clergy or in that do something with the church? This looks like you saying yes to every program that everybody invites you to or suggests you to. This looks like the musician who is being called to play for 2 and 3 services. Yes, you might get paid, but baby, you don't have to do all of that when God says that I'm going to supply all of your needs. So at that point, you're taking matters into your own hand and you're putting more on your plate than you can bear. And then you're telling God, oh, God, help me. I think I've overstretched myself. It's this gift you gave me. Yeah, God said He wants you to use your gift, but with wisdom, right? You don't just use your gift just to use it. You have to use wisdom. And so then after the prodigal son realizes, and I'm going back to the original text, right? After the prodigal son realizes the mistake that he has done, he's like, wait, why I'm in this lowly place when I have a rich father that I could just go back to? I can live better than this. He might put me on the servant board, but at least his servants live better than this, right? And so he goes back home. His father actually welcomes him in, it says, prepare a nice meal for my son, run his bath, give him the finest of robes, because my son has returned home. So prodigal people out there, the unsettled spirit people, just understand that when you get back on track, when you start to slow down and really see where God is taking you, what you're going to end up finding out is that the places that you left from, that you thought was barren, was actually a savings account that God said, now you're ready. You couldn't handle it before, but now you are ready and able to handle it now. You had your hands in too many pots before. I had to wait till you took your hands out of the pots and allow me to do the stirring, allow me to add the adding of the seasonings, right? I had to wait till you moved out of the way so that I can do for you what I'm supposed to do for you. And now you're back on the proper timeline that you were supposed to have in the first place. Now you're going to start to see the blessings, whereas before you never saw the blessings. So, so I will say that there's a famous book by Chinua Achebe called Things Fall Apart. And so I was singing on this Sunday when I wrote these notes. And the vision that I received from God was think about, I'm trying to think if there was a game that kind of portrays it. But just imagine that you are on your road, right? You're on your path. And there is this wall of stone in front of you. So you get your, I believe they call it, I'm not for sure what you call it actually. I want to say it's a chisel. Um, Hold on, let me look this up really quick because I want to tell you right. Because I know they use it in mining. What? Give me just a second. I think it's a pick. Maybe is this what they call it? Um, yeah, it says geology rock pick. I think this is what they call it. But anyway, it's that long tool. It looks like a hammer, but it has a sharp edge. So that's what I saw in this vision, is that it was just a person. It wasn't me particularly, right? It I was just seeing a person, and the person is trying to walk down the road, and they're walking on the road, they're walking on the road, they're walking on the road, and then they run into or walk into this brick wall. So they have this mining pick. I'm gonna get it in a second. Rock pick. And they take the rock pick and they start chiseling away. And the thing about it is that when mind you, while you're walking on this road and you get to this brick wall, you are now paused. That means you can't move forward. You definitely can't go back because you're supposed to be moving forward. You don't need to go back to where you came from. You don't need to be in that same mindset and living space. You have to keep going forward. So sometimes God will put these blocks in front of us so that we can slow down and learn the lesson. And sometimes it's not even a lesson. Sometimes it's literally God just saying, slow down. I got to slow you down because I'm working on some things on the other side that you don't quite see yet, that I need you to get to. But in order to get to it, I need to slow you down because you're progressing faster. And I knew it. I knew that you was going to progress faster because I created you and I know what's in you. So you, as this person, begin to hit the wall, hit it, hit it, hit it, until it starts to crack and crumble. And then you're like, okay, there's a leadway now. I got a crack in this wall. And then you begin to move the stone and you begin to crack. And yes, this is a tedious job. Yes, this is a job that this is a job that you have to do. It's hard. Thank you. Because I was like, how can I say this? Just imagine a situation that's caused you to pause. You thought that you was on your way up and now you're paused. Now you're in a situation that's caused you to stop. Now you're in a situation that has many people saying, man, I wish God would just move this out the way. Like, why this had to happen to me? Why this got to do that to me? Why this person do that to me? And this is what we mean why it's not happening to you, but it's happening for you. Because remember, God is slowing you down because God is now preparing the thing before you so that making sure that it's ready for you to inhabit once you get to the other side. Which is important for me to say this. This is why it's important for us to obey God, right? Because when somebody is not obeying God and they haven't done what God has asked them to do, they're holding up the progress for other people. That's why we say, if God tell you to do something, do it. Don't question it, just do it. Because your lack of response or an emergent response means that God now has to wait until you wake up and get your portion of this plan done so that the other step can happen. There's a few things that I have been waiting on for quite some time. And I said, whenever I meet that person, I might have to beat the person up. Like, we were on the schedule. Where you been at? Like, that's my own personal joke. But that's what God does. And then also on another aspect, God sometimes puts an already crumbled situation in front of us. And we walk into it. But guess what? We still have to do the work of removing it out of our paths. This looked like a promising something falling through before you can even really get to it. I know we mainly see this within acting or singing deal where artists and actors would say, I had this deal and it looked like it was going to take off, but then something happened and they were no longer going to do this project, so I had to find something else. This is what that crumbledness looked like. It's a redirection. Again, you're not going backwards, it's just a redirection, right? Because you might have a branch off of your road to go to the left or to the right. If you don't, however, it means that this thing was not for you. And because it's not for you, that means you now have to move it out your way and get to the other side. And then going back to the book, Things Fall Apart, it's like when things fall apart, let them. Because again, these situations, when think of it like this, when you're in a bad marriage and God wants you out, then you start to see that the marriage, like both parties are saying, I want a divorce. And it's like that the other party, one party is saying, I want a divorce. The other party is like, no, I want you to stay. Why are you leaving me? What about the kids? Da 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 da. And they're fighting tooth and nail to stay in the relationship. And God's like, no, I need you to go. This is not meant for you. You've had your time with this person. Now it's time to go. And the person steady is trying to come up with a way to keep this person in their life when it is their time to go. So God sometimes have situations like this to let you see that it's already crumbled. This thing that has already fallen apart, let it fall apart, and you move out the cracks. You move out those things that have crumbled so that you can clear out your path for something new, so that you can get to the other side without having to worry about whatever that thing caused you to do, right? Like if it was an abusive relationship, God wanted that person to stop hitting you, to stop controlling you, to stop locking you up in a room, right? And so the falling apart was the fact that this person had to go to jail, and yet you were still trying to bail this person out, but you could never get the funds to do so. That's what that looks like, right? And so when it's not time for you, well, when it's not time for you to manifest that thing that God wants, you have to see what you need to clear out. You have to see what type of residue has been left behind from those old past situations, because God is like, I am not going to allow you to sabotage your own blessing. It's here and it's ready, or it's in development and will be ready by the time you get there. But what I won't allow is for you to get up there and you miss out on your blessing. There we go. And when I saw that, I was like, wow. I wish I could show you my stick figures, but I'm a little embarrassed because I'm not a drawer like that, right? But I will say that at the end of the vision, when you clear out the debris, the cracks and everything, what happens is that you just move forward. And you move forward with ease. It's like as soon as you crack this thing, or if you already see that it's a cracked situation, you just move the debris out your way. And yes, that takes a lot of strength to move and do the clearing of dead weight and dead space and dead energy, right? But once you get to the other side, you are now in the goal. You are now that prodigal son that has returned to your rightful state of being. The prodigal son was not just about a son returning to his father. It was the fact that you are returning to your natural state of being. You were never meant to beg. You were meant to call those things as though they were, and then they manifest into the things that you have wanted them to be. And then the next note I have down here is things had to become broken so you can easily move into place. And I think I've already explained that, but it's with ease because once you've been held back for quite some time, all of a sudden, when it's time for your release date, things start to fall into place. Things that you didn't think was going to happen for you start to happen, and people are just like, where did all these blessings come from? How did this person get here? This person was not doing this just last week, and now they're in this total different space. Like, what's happening? What's happening, Jeeves? And somebody I will catch that reference. Um, and so once you have caught on as to what is happening, it's like, oh, that's what that was. Okay, let me move on. You learned the lesson. You've done the work. And now that you know how to move, you know how to speak, you know how to um, act. And I'm saying this not as far as movement, but like your actions, like your reactions. There we go, to things. That's what I want to say. Your reactions to things. So say if somebody say something wrong to you, you typically snap at them like, what you doing in my face? But you don't do that because you have learned the lesson, right? You understand that it doesn't take all that. You understand that you have to come to these situations in peace and victory. And you're just like, oh, okay, if that's what we're doing today. Okay, well, you have a nice day, and I'm going to continue to be blessed. All right, have a good day. And you go on about your business, and they're like, they were expecting a fight, and you're walking away peacefully. It's that same type of deal. Ah, so there was one thing that, and this is outside. This was outside of my thought pattern for this topic, but I felt led to still share it in this space. And the note is to think about the housing problems that we have in America, right? And so I wrote, there is a housing problem in America because you will not even provide an adequate home for Jesus. And this ties in with this unsettled spirit because when you're somebody, I just heard flighty and a flight risk. When you are somebody that is flighty or is at a flight risk, that is giving unstable ground for Jesus to inhabit, right? And this is just a metaphor because you can't live like it's like you moving into a house and they don't tell you that there's earthquakes, constant earthquakes. So every time you sit down and relax, it's like, oh my goodness. You think you're gonna take a hot bath after a long day of work, and you like, you going to sleep. It's currently 11:50 my time, right? 11:50 p.m. You try to go to sleep, you turn over. As soon as you turn over, oh, and that's what flightiness looks like to the spirit. It's like every time the spirit wants to get settled, you start moving. You start listening to loud noise and moving. You start speaking and canceling out the things that God wants to do for you. And God is like, I wish this person, well, not wish, but it's looking at you like, you just need to hush and let me do my job. But I'm not going to override you. I'm going to let you, if you want to wait 40, 40 years to get your prize, I will let you wait 40 years to get your prize. It's up to you. There was this job that I worked with, and we used to say, impact is up to you. So that's what I'm going to say to you. Impact is up to you. Because when you can provide an adequate space for something, that means that you have prepared a space. Just like the scripture says, he has prepared a place for us. My Father has many mansions, and I have gone to prepare a place for you. That means that while you were doing one thing, he was over here doing his assignment. Remember that assignment is coming back. When you can provide an adequate home for him, you will see how to move with your assignment. You will understand that everything that you used to think was a block it's not a block. It has been sent to help you. You will understand that you're chiseling away something because maybe that is a generational curse that you have been sent to break up. Right? And so when we get into the mode of understanding these things, we can breathe and we can settle our spirit. Because what's essentially is happening is that these people have unsettled spirits or spiritual anxiety. And if you've ever dealt with anxiety, you know there's different breathing techniques to calm the nerves down, calm the person's heart rate down, to even and even control how the person is breathing. And that's what we have to do spiritually. When we can understand that there are certain things that help us learn to just stop and smell the flowers, stop and just catch our breath. To not just do all the time, but to actually rest. Thank you. Spirit just reminded me that on the seventh day, the Spirit rested from creating the earth. So rest is an important part of your growth. We have been taught that we're supposed to move. Mm-mm. We move when we're told to move, and we stop when we're being told to stop, and we rest when we're being told to rest. Otherwise, God will make you rest. And I say that because you don't really want God to make you do anything, because it's going to be an abrupt something. It's going to be hard, and it's like, oh, okay, you didn't want me to do this, okay. Um, well, kids, we just popped 2 tires. We're going to be here for a while. It's that type of situation. And when you start to understand the situation, again, that's when the picture of your life, the vision, Habakkuk 2:2 talks about, you start to see the vision clearly. You start to see where your head, your heart, and your mind is going clearly. You receive the divine instructions clearly. People start aligning with you to provide you with resources, guidance, being a cheerleader, right? All divinely orchestrated to make sure that you continue to stay on this road. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's lesson. If you feel like this needs to be shared to someone, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, just thank you for tuning in, right? And I know for those who haven't seen my videos in quite some time, I know it's been so infrequent that they're happening, but that's just because of my current schedule, my newer schedule, and I'm still trying to balance it all out. So I did want to let you all know that, but I do thank you and appreciate you all coming to the channel. Continue to grow with me. And as always, like I say, don't question if you want to be, don't attempt to, just go ahead and be blessed for me, okay? Just be blessed. All right. You all have a wonderful day on tomorrow, and I will see you next time.